You ever stand in a town that feels like it's whispering its own obituary? Welcome to Homestead, Pennsylvania, ground zero of America's Rust Belt. This is where America was actually built. Not in boardrooms, but right here in fire and blood. Back in 1892, Carnegie's boys tried to break the Union. They sent Pinkerton goons up the river on barges. The steel workers met them with rifles and pure rage. 16 dead. The message was very clear. Muscle gets the bullet. Capital gets the parade. But man, did this place roar back in its prime. Around 1950, Pittsburgh and these river towns were the steel capital of the world. Half the nation's steel poured out of these mills. Tanks, skyscrapers, bridges, you name it. It was born here. Population exploding. Men from every corner of Europe turning molten iron into the American century. Then the world moved on. Mills closed. Jobs vanished. Pittsburgh's population cut in half. Homestead Works became a shopping strip. Progress, they call it. But the soul didn't leave. It just got quieter, tougher, and realer. This is the muscle that built the country, and then got told thanks, we'll take it from here. No parades, just pride, and apparently really good pierogi. Welcome to the Rust Belt. Let's go and explore it together as it is in 2026. Welcome to the Steel City. Welcome to Pittsburgh. This here is the Southside Flats area of the city. Would have been used to house a lot of the steel workers. It was developed in sort of the late 19th, early 20th century. A lot of Eastern Europeans, Italians and Germans would have settled around here. And you can feel that influence with a lot of the storefronts, a lot of the churches as well. And you can see it in a lot of the old row house architecture. This is a beautiful spot. Again, sad to see, but another old, small factory area here, and it stretches for basically the whole block, but completely abandoned and sprayed up due to the decline in the population, of course. It is sad, kind of sombering as well. This city was incredibly prosperous at one time. It's really blowing us away how entire sections of Pittsburgh just feels like a ghost town almost. There is plenty of people here. The population of this city is over 300,000. People on the roads, there's people out moving around. But there is entire sections of the city that just feel like they've been left behind.
Ooh. A little bit scary. Yep. A little haunted.
Looks really cool. It's a cool building.
Yes, yeah, you can get out on the roof on this corner and get some beautiful pictures.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. If you get around the right side, I mean, it is hard. They boarded up pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you. They said you can actually go inside. They boarded this place up pretty good. Can only imagine what this used to look like back when the steel industry was booming. All the windows are boarded up now. But this was probably kind of the center, like the center point of a community that lived here in the Southside slopes of Pittsburgh back in the day. And these buildings here are also entirely abandoned as well.
I believe it might have been one large sort of maybe convent or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously you have the girls' school, that is a St. Michael's girls' school, so likely a German Catholic. And then this seems to be some sort of housing. And then over there you have a church that seems to be remodeled now to people living and working in there or something like that.
True.
So I think it was just all one area here, which you can also see in the old houses. They all have the same red bricks. So I think it was just sort of one congregation, one convent.
It's Fascinating to see these buildings though. Everything is boarded up, closed, not operational. But it literally feels like this here is the school, and this is probably where a lot of those school children could have maybe boarded or stayed at. There's a light on inside here. It's kind of spooky actually. So we took a quick bus outside of central downtown Pittsburgh to Homestead. Homestead is one of the most important towns in Pittsburgh's steel history. The river around here was used to transport iron ore and steel up and down the river for a low cost, and this town was booming back in the day. And check out the massive stacks. These here are smokestacks, and back probably around in the 50s and 60s and before, there would have been huge plumes of smoke coming out the top of these. And now it's quite literally sitting in the car park of a Longhorn Steakhouse and a Costco. And over here you have the infamous AMC theater as well. It's fascinating to be able to stand at the base of these massive smokestacks and just imagine what Homestead would have used to look like back in the day. Since the collapse of the steel industry here in the area of Homestead, thousands of industry jobs were lost in very quick succession. Many thousands of people left the town to go elsewhere, obviously, to find work either in central Pittsburgh, or they went to a completely different state. And a huge amount of the people that would have worked here in the steel factories and in the steel industry would have been migrants from places like Italy, Ireland, Poland, and a lot of Eastern Europe as well. A lot of the steel that would have been produced right here in Homestead would have went to build these very railroads. The trains themselves back in the day would have been stacked here. These freight trains would have been piled up with coal and iron ore being transported here on the railroads and also up and down the rivers. It didn't only go towards building railroads though, it also went into things like building the many beautiful cities in the US, a lot of the skyscrapers and a lot of other things such as military equipment and stuff like that too. So believe it or not, one of the starkest contrasts that I can talk about or provide to you guys about Homestead is that the population. So the population of Homestead back in 1880 was only about 590 people. And then about 40 years later in 1920, that population went all the way up over 20,000 people. And between 1920 and 2020, in the span of 100 years, it went from over 20,000 people to a little bit over 2,000 people. Over here you can see some of the remnants of one of the many factories. It's now being used as a baking company. Back in the day would have stored a lot of steel.
The median age of the people that still live in Homestead, by the way, is 49.2 years. Because obviously there's not much work left here. Sort of the younger people, the kids are moving towards Pittsburgh for college, or even towards cities and urban areas that are further away with a little bit more opportunity, which obviously means if you wait 10 to 20 years, there will be only elderly people here if nothing changes, and pretty much nobody to even look after those people unless younger communities start to come back and move back in to Homestead and the surrounding areas.
You can quite literally see that this used to be a citizens' bank of Homestead. They even have the opening hours and everything, but it has since become completely abandoned. This is where the ATM used to be.
How scary does this look? It's for sale, but it seems to be abandoned for quite some time. UPS has missed the people that live here, or used to work here.
Just imagine what this used to look like. Even like the 80s. Like, we're not talking about a massive time period here. We're not like, oh, back in the early 1800s or whatever. No, this is like literally 40 years ago.
The steel industry officially closed in 1986, I believe.
1986, yeah.
So that's sort of, well, I suppose a little bit before that is when it started to go downhill, but then like properly downhill, obviously, shortly thereafter. But it looks all a bit creepy and weird. Oh, why did they leave the mannequins in there? There's lots of letters there in the back as well. Seems like some lettermans are still bringing the post, the letters. Oh, things are still hanging on the racks. You can still buy weird costumes. It's like somebody left and just left everything behind.
They left all of the inventory, yeah.
Oh my god. I'm gonna invest a quarter just to see if it would still work. No. Oh. It does work. Oh, that made me so much happier than you think that it still works. Quality work from that company that creates those. They have been probably standing there for a really long time. Now we have the Rivers of Steel headquarters and visitor center just here, and it's actually quite interesting because they have a sign here which I believe is from the union that is entirely in Italian. It says organizzare oggi o domani sott'acqua, which means organize yourselves today or tomorrow be underwater. Which is crazy to see. Why is that? Why is that in Italian? Obviously a lot of immigrants would have been around here from Italy.
You can see a lot of the safety equipment here that they would have used back in the day, and they have some sign ship on the front of a lot of the helmets. Even some of the helmets actually have people's names, so I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but there's a helmet there that says Homestead Works, which is Andrew Carnegie's steel company, and then it says John Rominski. Rominski, I believe, is a Polish or Hungarian surname, so incredible to be able to see those being displayed here.
This here is the post office, which is still in use today, but they have this gem in the parking lot, a really old Ford fire brigade truck. Look at that. Burgettstown Fire Company. And it seems to be that maybe it could still run. It still has the batteries attached there. How cool is that? That's like everybody's dream, to drive in one of these cars one time, one of these trucks.
It's so badass.
I would love that, oh my word.
Massive mural here for the Homestead Steelworks, established in 1881. That's exactly what I was saying, guys. 1880, about 500 people here. From 1880 to 1881, the steelworks opened, and then over the span of 40 years, it went from 500-ish people up over 20,000. massive, desecrated, abandoned church here. Just here in Homestead, I've seen more churches within 2-3 minute walk than I've ever seen anywhere in Europe.
The John F. Kennedy Memorial Park, founded 1900. Oh, originally the Library Park, founded 1900. I was like, John F. Kennedy founded 1900. That doesn't make any sense. Within the Kennedy Park, they have this beautiful memorial, which is erected by the citizens of the borough of Munhall. And it's honoring all of the people that sacrificed their life during World War I. And it says, "They did not die too soon who held the front for Christendom. What equal glories could their further years have won?"
It's fascinating to read the names of some of the people that are here. A lot of Irish names, a lot of Polish, a lot of Italian, Eastern European, etc. Like
some German, yeah.
Some Germans. George Hutchinson, it's a very Irish name.
Herbert Krane, Frich, Kühmann, Hartland, yeah.
A lot of these people would have been raised probably in this area, and their family lineage goes to this area, the steel work, the steel industry, and then a lot of them probably working in the steel industry and then had to be sent to fight for the US. Beautiful. Good job.
I'm worn out. My replacement is coming. Thanks, your old ATM. Seems like that's the theme of this entire town. As beautiful as it is, my God, it's empty.
To get up here to the viewpoint, you can take this incline, and that's what we did, the Monongahela incline. I'm not sure if that's even how you properly pronounce that, but you can buy a ticket for just a few dollars. It's like a 3-hour pass. It takes you up here to the top of Mount Washington, where you can get these panoramic views over downtown. Well worth it. Also a great point to orienteer ourselves, get our bearings, and see where we want to go. Just a quick Google search online and you find out quite quickly the house is here. Panoramic views over downtown Pittsburgh. A lot of these houses are going for well over $1 million a piece. This house here, absolutely beautiful. Very, very pristine area. Gorgeous neighborhood to be in. Incredible views. My only question is, with the eradication or the massive decline with the steel industry, what sort of industry is actually here now? I've heard there's a rise in the tech industry and some young people are getting jobs there, but outside of that I don't really know. So please let us know down in the comments where someone is going to be getting the money to get a $1 million house if you're living in Pittsburgh. Wow, this church here is for sale. When the War of 1812 cut off the supply of British goods, the nation turned to Pittsburgh with its resources like coal, sand and river transportation. The city quickly became a hub of manufacturing for iron, brass, tin and glass. Beautiful. Have a look at this. Check this thing out. The massive steel pot. 35 tons is the weight. Yeah, let's use Naomi for reference here. Look at this size.
5'10".
Naomi's about 5'10".
Or 177.
Look at this. Absolutely crazy. So this usually would be full of like molten, like white hot, and it would basically like pour the liquid out. So you have these two attachments on each side here, so it kind of rotates like this. I heard, by the way, that the dude who invented Heinz, the ketchup, is from here. Look at that. That's a big ass bottle of ketchup. Welcome to Point State Park, Pittsburgh. One of the most historically important sites probably in all of western Pennsylvania. This is the Ohio Fork, or the merging of three very important rivers. The Monongahela River over here on this side, and this side here you have the Allegheny River. Those two rivers merge together, which in front of us right now is the massive Ohio River. It's also an incredibly beautiful place to just come for a walk like we are right now. You can get some serious views, just like we did up there where we started this video on Mount Washington. We're now down below looking up at Mount Washington. Gorgeous views of the bridge, this big beautiful yellow bridge here, and also the skyline here of downtown. You can even get a glimpse across at the North Shore part of Pittsburgh as well. So I feel like this is almost, it feels like kind of the center point of gravity here in Pittsburgh. Quality of life here in Pittsburgh seems to be, if you're able to make it work money-wise, the quality of life here, I'd say, is quite nice. It is, I think, cheaper to live here than it would be in Philadelphia. It's definitely cheaper than it is in New York City. So cost of living wise, win-win. And I think safety wise, Pittsburgh is also a substantially safer city than Philadelphia. It's also, I think, safer than New York City and many of the other major cities that are around the east. So it's a win-win city here. Very, very underrated, and a city that we haven't heard much about before coming here as well.
The stadium just over here, by the way, is the stadium that the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing in case you like NFL the way Luke and I like the NFL. That's a pretty cool site. It's a lot smaller than I thought, though. I kind of thought NFL stadiums were super big. This one, I mean, it looks somewhat big, but it's not like as big as I thought that it was going to be.
Wow, so all along the riverfront, so this here is the Allegheny River. All along this riverfront here is street art, so it's a lot nicer to look at, I have to say, than the typical graffiti that we're used to in a lot of our major European cities. The random scribbles on the wall, or the graffiti pier, I guess, that we saw not that long ago in Philadelphia. It's definitely more pleasing on the eye, I have to say. It appears to be like some sort of a commemoration or like mural to important African American people, maybe that are from Pittsburgh, for example. It's very, very cool, and it sort of contrasts nicely because it goes directly under this bridge here, contrasts beautifully out over. Also, this is like the Pirates, Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium, so they have the Pirates where the Pirates play, and then over, literally just over there, is where the Steelers are, so they're like right next to each other. That's really cool.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, the Peepees.
The Peepees, yeah. Not really sure how that works. Really, really old bridge, completely rusted out. I'm not sure if it's even still being used, but it's gorgeous. So the Strip District used to be a very important access point for ships coming up and down from the Allegheny River. Just over here would have been one of the many access points. And this here now is, by the way, called the Terminal, which is basically kind of a strip mall, I guess you could call it. Lots of stores and coffee shops, Chipotle, Starbucks, all that good stuff. And this, back in the day, way back in the day, would have been used as basically an open market for a lot of fruits and fresh vegetables, and also as a storage facility for a lot of stuff from the boats accessing here from the Allegheny River.
It's really nice to see here. You do have some of the old signs left, and here across the road, for example, is J. Marcus Wholesale Distributors from 1728, and that would have been a factory outlet right there. So cool to see the old signs. Kind of makes you feel like you're going back in time, but then obviously you look this way and it's like Chipotle and Starbucks or whatever, but that's alright.
So we made it to Primanti Bros, famous Pittsburgh sandwich place, started in 1933 right here in Pittsburgh, and it is absolutely packed. We had to wait for about 10 minutes before we could even find ourselves a table.
Look at the size of the dill pickle. My god. I ordered a dill pickle on the side just for the sake of trying a dill pickle in the US, because it kind of seems to be a big thing here. Super juicy, nice and crunchy. Amazing. Also, I ordered a Pittsburgh. I don't even know how to. I don't know how to pick it up. It's kind of like. It's a giant sandwich. There's meat on it somewhere. There's slaw on it, and fries, tomato. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and take a bite. Not sure how to go about it logistically, but I'm gonna. Oh, that's nice. I kind of only got the tomatoes and the potatoes. I didn't get any meat. Hold on. Oh. That's surprisingly good. That's really tasty. I didn't think it was gonna be this tasty because of the size of it. I was like, that just cannot be good, but it's actually really nice. It's good. Didn't think it was gonna be good. Nice.
So I went for the steak and cheese option. It's just as thick. Look at this. So what Naomi seems to have gotten is like a hamburger, and I have like kind of a shredded steak version of it. It's like it's steak, cheese, fries, coleslaw, tomato, whole bunch of other stuff on there. That's a mouthful. So I love how all of the different sides on the sandwich, you don't need the sides separately. They all just come together on the same sandwich. This to me is like a hangover food. So this is phenomenal. It's very good. Very good value as well. I wanted to touch on this. A sandwich, like one of these sandwiches, it's only about $10. So in terms of value, I don't think you can get much better than this. This is very good. Look at the size of it. This is the Smithfield Street Bridge, one of the many historic bridges here in Pittsburgh. And I've got to say, this is a stunning bridge to walk over. A lot more unique looking than a lot of the other ones, although I'm sure there's plenty of other beautiful ones here as well. Just looking up, down the river, every bridge is a different color, different shape, different sort of texture of metal, and obviously different history as well. Every bridge that you take, you're walking over a different piece of history. So I guess the question that we're asking with this video is, does Pittsburgh feel like it's recovering in any way since the collapse of the steel industry here? And the reality is the population has never recovered, believe it or not. So the peak of the population here in Pittsburgh was in the year 1950. It has not fully recovered since then, but Pittsburgh is one of the most well-known comeback stories for Rust Belt cities. There's a lot of other places, towns and cities along the Rust Belt that haven't come back as well as Pittsburgh has, and you can feel it, particularly walking around the downtown and also the many other neighboring areas here in central Pittsburgh. You can feel there is redevelopment happening, reinvestment happening. There's a lot of youthful life here, and that has a lot to do with the many universities, the up-and-coming robotics, AI and research industries, healthcare as well is a big part of the rejuvenation of Pittsburgh. So that speaks very, very positively, I think, in terms of how the future is going to look for this city. And I think both of us can agree this has been, so far, out of the first 3 cities that we visited in the US, this has been our absolute favorite in terms of enjoying an actual city.
And it is working class, so don't get us wrong there. So you do see lots and lots of people that are just normal working class people, as you see everywhere. And there's also a tiny bit of a rough area. We just walked through there, but it's not really a large area at all. It's just sort of one intersection that is close to the county jail, and directly beside it is like a homeless shelter, the Mercy shelter or something like that. So that's kind of the only place where you can visibly see homelessness and drug use. The rest of the city is really fine, but we had a really great time here, and I would definitely come back.
100%. We cannot wait to explore more. Wow. American muscle, baby. Yeah, we cannot wait to explore more of this country. We're still very, very new here. It's only been about 2 weeks since we arrived to the US, so we have a lot more to discover, a lot more to explore. But for now, from this big, beautiful yellow bridge here in Pittsburgh, I will remind you all once again, Christ is King.
God bless you all.
And we'll see you guys in the next adventure. Good luck.
Bye.